be trustworthy. Be a good human being. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't try to get that sale so bad that you try to like mince words or change words or not disclose anything. Like, be direct. People actually expect you to be direct. People expect the product to have things wrong with it. You know, tell them the bad things. Tell them the things that don't work. You know, be upfront. Be there to where you could be having Thanksgiving at their house and not have like a bit of regret in the whole part of the conversation. So these are the things that are like number one is just become that person. And it goes to tangible things like, I mean, I watch people that are starting in the business as not starting, and some people just exude that trustworthiness,
Yeah.
and you're like, they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna make it. And other people that it's just like, if if you're in this business and people are like, oh, you're hard to trust, you just stop right now. Just stop it. Because I think that's a real critical part is become that trustworthy person, and then get creative. You know, what can you do? What can be fun that can work, that can engage people to you? And I mean, maybe it's as stupid as meet me for a picnic. You know, do something where you're connecting that's not your normal thing.
Yeah.
And that will do it. But a big part is you know, we've talked about a couple things in our past podcast that all lead up to this. You know, mission, vision, you know, your standards. If you don't have those things, three things lined up, you can't fake.
Yeah.
You know, I've met agents that are successful that say they maybe don't have those things, but they do. They just haven't like exuded them on paper.
Yeah.
You know, and that's but the idea is you got to have those things down close enough to where you can live into that, and there can be expectations for your clients and for your staff and for everyone else on what you will do, and then live into it to have that success.
Well, ultimately, people can smell commission breath, right? They
Yeah.
can tell the sales. You're laying it on hard. You're laying it on thick. And one of maybe the recommendations I would give to people in building trust is, and it's such a simple concept, is be present.
Yeah.
Be present. I don't care if it's a first appointment, second appointment, if it's an annual review, if it's follow up, if it's just calling them to talk to them about their daughter who just went to college and is playing soccer. The reality is, and I just think with the attention being grabbed in 100,000 different directions right now, when you're in the appointment, the most important thing during that appointment is one thing, and it's that person sitting right there. It's the person on the other end of the phone, and you've got to detach yourself from other things.
100%. You know, getting a little personal and you know, hopefully being a little brave to share this experience, but I had a situation with one of my businesses that went bad, really bad. And it was, you know, we talk about these troughs and valleys that people go through in entrepreneurship. It was my all-time low. And some of even the recommendations that I made hurt people. And while I wasn't responsible for anything that was a lie or anything like that, you know, I was upfront. I was trustworthy through the whole process. The reason I'm sharing this is two things. I watched it, the other agents and advisors that were tied up in this thing as well, I watched it destroy their businesses. And when you do it right, I had clients that were affected by it come into my office with a giant hug saying, I'm so worried about you. So worried about you.
Wow.
And I mean, this is a very small group of my overall practice. It was a small group that were affected by this thing. But it was awful to go through, but it was amazing when you build that trust in the relationship, how much it came back, and it bulletproofed my, you know, my practice is stronger than it ever has been, because of the principles and the things and the times that we put into people, and to get recommendations from people that were affected by this situation. They know we did it right, that we did everything right, and that we done enough good for them in so many other aspects of our life that this little tiny thing that went wrong meant nothing, because the overall strategies, the overall commitment, we doing what we said we would do, was so prevalent that all they saw was the good amongst a world that can only see bad. And that to me was maybe my biggest compliment that I've received in the industry, is from my very own clients that were the very few that were affected by this thing that not only stayed with me, but have brought me more business by themselves and others. And so, just to give you an idea of what that means to our business, forget the personal emotional component that to me I value very high. And I value my relationships with my clients incredibly high. And so it is important to me and it is who I am. It is the authentic me. We get about 50 to 60% of our new revenue every year is from existing clients. And when you're doing numbers like 30 to $35 million a year, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's huge. And it's a testament to who you are, Matt. It's a testament, even that story, I saw you go through that and it was hard, but the reality is you came out on the other side, the same Matt, working through it, the same trustworthy individual. And I think there's a component of, let me ask the question, and I'm going to put it in a provocative way to the community. Do you really know your clients?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is such a loaded question, right?
Yeah.
Because there's, some even laws around knowing your clients and suitability and fiduciaries that are,
Sure.
forever kind of being changed and tweaked as the industry tries to regulate itself. And I think it's for all positive. I like what the industry's doing, or at least attempting to do. But often you'll do some case prep for someone, and it doesn't happen to me often, but we'll come back from one of the insurance carriers or investment groups, wherever we're doing, and they'll say, that wasn't suitable. And you're like, have you talked to the client? Do you know what's going on? And it kind of cracks me up a little bit. But yeah, knowing the client and knowing what's suitable for them is a huge critical part of it. And it comes back to how good are you asking questions and how good are you at listening? There's some tough nuts to crack.